Be me, 27 years old, working remote for some tech company. Life has been pretty straightforward lately. No major drama, everything under control the way I like it. Parents have been calling nonstop for weeks, asking when I'm coming to visit. Finally cave and decide to take a week off to go see them. Pack a small bag with essentials, make sure apartment is locked up tight, catch the evening train. Spend the entire week listening to Dad's stories about his college football days and eating way too much of Mom's cooking. Actually kind of nice to disconnect from work and just be around family for a change. But by day 6, I'm getting restless, ready to get back to my own space and routine. Catch the morning train back to the city, arrive at my building around 8 p.m. Climb the familiar stairs to the 3rd floor, fishing keys out of my pocket. Slide the key into the lock like I've done thousands of times before. Turn the handle, push open the door, reach for the light switch, flip it on, and my world just stops. There is a woman sleeping on my living room floor, not curled up on my couch like maybe she's a friend who crashed here, literally sprawled out on the hardwood floor with some random blankets and pillows. Blonde hair, looks like she's in her 30s, completely unconscious. For a solid 10 seconds, my brain refuses to process what I'm seeing. Double-check the door number on the way in. Apartment 3B, definitely mine. Look at my keys. Yep, these are the right ones. Scan the room. There's my TV mounted on the wall, my bookshelf with all the programming manuals, my coffee table with that ring stain I never bothered fixing. Everything is exactly where I left it, except for this random woman camping out on my floor. Heart starts hammering in my chest, like I just ran a marathon. Maybe she's homeless and somehow got in through a window? Maybe she picked the lock? Approach her slowly. Clear my throat softly. "Excuse me, miss." No response. She's out cold. Speak up a bit louder. "Hey, excuse me." She stirs, opens her eyes, and looks directly at me without any surprise or embarrassment. Sits up casually and stretches her arms like she's waking up in her own bed. "Oh, you must be Alex," she says, like we're old friends. "Yeah, I'm Alex, and this is my apartment. Who are you, and what are you doing here?" She stands up, completely calm and composed, no hint of awkwardness. "I'm Megan. I live here now." Blink a few times, wondering if I'm having some kind of stress-induced hallucination. "I'm sorry? What did you just say?" "I said I live here now. This is my space." She delivers this information with the same tone someone would use to tell you the weather. "Look, I don't know how you got in here or what's going on, but you need to leave, right now." She actually laughs, like I just told her a funny joke. "I'm not leaving anywhere. I'm a feminist, and I have the right to be wherever I want to be." Stare at her like she just started speaking in tongues. "That's not how apartments work. This is my home. I pay rent here. I have a lease." "Your lease doesn't give you the right to exclude women from safe spaces." "Safe spaces? We're talking about my living room here. Ma'am, with all due respect, you're trespassing on private property. I'm calling the police." Pull out my phone with hands that are starting to shake. She just shrugs and starts casually folding her blankets like this is a normal Tuesday. "Go ahead and call them. They can't do anything about this." Dial 911, trying to keep my voice steady. Dispatcher picks up. 911, what's your emergency?" "Hi, there is someone in my apartment who broke in and refuses to leave. Is this person currently threatening you or causing you immediate physical harm?" Glance over at Megan, who is now organizing her stuff in a neat pile. No, she's not violent, but she's trespassing and won't leave when I asked her to. "Sir, this sounds like a civil dispute rather than a criminal matter. You'll need to contact a lawyer and go through the proper legal channels." Feel my stomach drop into my shoes. "What do you mean, civil dispute? Someone broke into my home." Without evidence of forced entry or immediate threat, we can't remove someone from a residence. You'll need to file for an eviction through the courts." Hang up the phone, completely stunned. Megan looks over with a smug smile. "Told you they couldn't help." Spend the next hour going back and forth with her, trying to understand what's happening. She keeps throwing around phrases like women's rights and systemic oppression whenever I ask her to explain herself. Every rational argument I make gets met with some feminist slogan that makes no sense in context. You can't just take over someone's apartment because you feel like it. Women have been excluded from spaces for centuries. I'm reclaiming what's rightfully ours. This isn't about gender. This is about property law and basic human decency. That's exactly what a privileged male would say. By 11 p.m., I'm exhausted and getting nowhere. She's made herself completely at home, raiding my kitchen for snacks. Watch in horror as she opens my fridge and starts eating leftover pizza like she paid for it. Could you at least not eat my food? Food is a human right. Besides, you have plenty. Plenty? I meal prep for one person, not two. Realize I'm not going to win this tonight. Grab some clothes and my laptop, head for the door. "Where are you going?" she asks. "To find somewhere else to sleep, since you've made that impossible here." "You don't have to leave. We can coexist." "I'm not coexisting with someone who broke into my home." Slam the door behind me, hands still shaking with disbelief. Drive around the city for an hour trying to process what just happened. End up at my friend Jake's place, ring the doorbell at midnight. "Alex, what are you doing here so late?" Explain the entire situation while he makes coffee. He thinks I'm pranking him at first, until he sees how shaken up I am. "Dude, that's insane. Just change the locks tomorrow." I can't change locks on someone who's inside. Plus, she might have some legal claim I don't understand. Crash on his couch. Barely sleep. Wake up the next morning, hoping it was all some weird stress dream. Drive back to my building, climb those stairs again. Key still works. Door opens. Megan is sitting at my kitchen table eating cereal from my bowls. She's wearing what looks like my old college t-shirt. "Good morning, Alex. Sleep well?" Blood pressure spikes immediately. "You're still here." Where else would I be? This is where I live now. Notice she's made herself completely comfortable. There are dishes in the sink that I didn't use. My bathroom towels are damp. She's been using my shower, my soap, everything. We need to talk about this situation. What's to talk about? I told you, I live here now. Spend another 2 hours trying to reason with her. Offer to help her find other housing, even offer to pay for a hotel room for a few nights. She refuses everything, keeps going back to her feminist talking points. This is about challenging male privilege and reclaiming female autonomy. This is about you squatting in my apartment without permission. Permission is a patriarchal construct. Feel like I'm arguing with a broken record that only plays social justice slogans. Finally give up and head to work. Can't concentrate all day. Keep thinking about someone going through my stuff. Get home around 6 p.m. Door is unlocked. Panic for a second, thinking she left and someone else broke in. Walk inside to find Megan on my couch watching Netflix. But that's not the worst part. There are 2 other women sitting with her. They all look up when I enter, like I'm interrupting their party. "Alex, meet my friends Sarah and Jessica. They might be staying over tonight." Might be staying over? In my apartment? Absolutely not. Why not? There's plenty of room. Because this isn't a hostel, it's my home. Sarah speaks up. "Megan told us about your hostility toward women. That's really problematic." Hostility toward women? I just want my apartment back. I'm not hostile toward women. I'm hostile toward trespassers. Same thing, Jessica adds. Spend the evening locked in my bedroom while they have what sounds like a feminist book club meeting in my living room. Can hear them talking about toxic masculinity and residential inequality. Try calling the police again. Get the same response. Sir, you need to go through proper legal channels. Look up lawyers online until 2 a.m. Find one who specializes in landlord-tenant disputes. Call first thing in the morning. Mr. Johnson, this is a complex situation. Without a formal lease agreement between you and this person, it becomes a matter of adverse possession and squatter's rights. Squatter's rights? She's been here 3 days. The law varies by state, but generally speaking, if someone establishes residency and you've allowed them to stay without formal eviction proceedings, they may have certain protections. I didn't allow anything. She just showed up. Regardless, you'll need to file for eviction through the housing court. The process typically takes 60 to 90 days. Months? She could be there for months, possibly longer if she contests the eviction. Hang up feeling completely defeated. 3 months of my life held hostage by someone I've never met. Head back to the apartment to grab more clothes. Find Megan rearranging my furniture. My coffee table is now against the wall, couch moved to face the window. What are you doing? Making the space more functional. The feng shui was terrible before. Don't touch my furniture. Our furniture. I live here too now. Stop saying that. You don't live here. You're squatting. Squatting is just another word men use to criminalize women's survival strategies. Realize she has an answer for everything, all rooted in some twisted feminist logic. Can't win with reason. Can't win with law enforcement. Can't win with lawyers giving me a timeline that might as well be forever. Week 2 of this nightmare begins. File all the paperwork with housing court like the lawyer told me. Takes 3 hours and costs $200 just to get the process started. Clerk tells me court date won't be scheduled for at least 6 weeks. 6 weeks of living out of a duffel bag while someone else sleeps in my bed. Drive back to check on my apartment. Key doesn't work. She changed the locks. Stand there for 5 minutes jiggling the handle like an idiot. Knock on my own door. Megan opens it with a cup of my coffee in her hand. Oh, hey, Alex, what's up? What do you mean, what's up? You changed my locks. Our locks. And yes, I upgraded the security. This neighborhood isn't safe for women. How did you even get a locksmith to do that? It's not your apartment. I told them I was the tenant and lost my keys. Simple. Feel my eyes start twitching. I need to get my things. Sure, but you need to give 24 hours notice before entering. Tenant rights. Tenant rights? She's not a tenant, she's a squatter. I don't need to give notice to enter my own apartment. Actually, you do. I looked it up. Once someone establishes residency, you can't just barge in whenever you want. She closes the door in my face. Stand in the hallway staring at my own door with a new lock. Neighbor across the hall opens her door, Mrs. Patterson from 3C. Oh, Alex, I didn't know you had moved out. I didn't move out, Mrs. Patterson. But that nice young woman said you were her boyfriend, and you live together now. Boyfriend? Boyfriend? She's not my girlfriend. She's a stranger who broke into my apartment. Mrs. Patterson looks confused and a little scared. Oh my, should I call the building manager? Already tried. He says it's not his problem until there's a court order. She retreats back into her apartment, clearly wanting no part of this drama. Spend the next hour sitting in my car trying to figure out what to do. Can't afford to keep staying in hotels. Jake's couch is killing my back. Drive to a storage unit place, rent a small unit for my stuff. At least I can get my belongings somewhere safe. Call the locksmith myself. Explain the situation. Says, sorry buddy, can't help you without proof of ownership and a police report for forced entry. She's the one who forced entry, not me. Either way, we don't get involved in domestic disputes. Domestic disputes? We were never domestic. Next few days are a blur of legal paperwork and sleeping on couches. Friends start getting tired of my situation, can hear it in their voices. Maybe you should just find a new apartment. Jake suggests. I shouldn't have to find a new apartment. That's my apartment. Yeah, but dude, is it worth months of stress? Just cut your losses. Cut my losses. She's the one stealing from me. Decide to go back and try to reason with her one more time. Climb the stairs to my floor. Notice music coming from my apartment. Not just any music, loud party music at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Knock on the door, wait, knock louder. Megan finally opens it, clearly annoyed. Behind her, I can see at least 5 other women in my living room. They're drinking wine from my glasses and eating food I definitely didn't buy. Alex, we're having a women's empowerment circle. Can this wait? A what? In my apartment? Our apartment. And it's a sacred space right now. Very important work happening. Sacred space? It's my living room. You can't just throw parties in my home. It's not a party, it's a gathering. And yes, I can. I live here. One of the women from inside shouts, "Is that the oppressor?" Oppressor? I just want my apartment back. Ladies, meet Alex. He's the landlord who's trying to evict a woman for exercising her rights. Landlord? I'm not anyone's landlord. I'm a renter, just like anyone else. They all turn to look at me with disgust. Typical male behavior, one of them says. Using the patriarchal legal system to silence women's voices, adds another. Feel like I'm in some alternate reality where nothing makes sense anymore. I'm not trying to silence anyone. I just want my apartment back. See? He admits it. He wants to control female bodies and spaces. Female bodies? We're talking about real estate. This has nothing to do with gender. It's about property law. Big mistake mentioning property law. They all start talking at once about how property is theft and the patriarchy and capitalism. Back away slowly while they're distracted by their own rhetoric. Sit in my car again, head in my hands. Call my parents, try to explain what's happening. Honey, maybe you should just come stay with us until this gets sorted out, Mom suggests. I can't run away to my parents' house. I'm 27 years old with a career and responsibilities. Well, what else are you going to do? Good question. What else am I going to do? Decide to document everything for court. Take photos through the window of all the people in my apartment. Write down times and dates of every interaction. Start a journal of all the crazy things she says. Maybe if I have enough evidence, the judge will expedite the eviction. Week 3 arrives with new horrors. Get a call from my building management company. Mr. Johnson, we've received several noise complaints about your apartment. It's not me making noise. It's the person who's squatting there. Our records show you're the tenant, so you're responsible for any disturbances. But I'm not even living there right now. That's not our concern. Please keep the noise down, or we'll have to take action. Action? Like what? Evict me from my own apartment? Drive over to see what kind of noise they're talking about. Can hear music and voices from the street. Climb up to the 3rd floor. Sounds like there's a full party going on. Knock on the door, wait 10 minutes, knock again. Finally, Megan opens it, looking irritated. Alex, you really need to stop harassing me. Harassing? Coming to my own apartment is harassment now? The building manager called about noise complaints. Oh, that. Yeah, we're hosting a fundraiser for women's reproductive rights. A fundraiser? In my apartment? Without my permission. Peek inside. There have to be 20 people crammed into my small living room. They're selling t-shirts and collecting donations, using my space to run a business. You can't run a fundraiser out of my apartment. It's for a good cause. Besides, the space was just sitting empty. Empty? It's not empty. It's occupied by someone who doesn't belong there. Megan, this has to stop. You're going to get me evicted. Then maybe you shouldn't have tried to evict a woman in the first place. Actions have consequences. Consequences? What about the consequences of breaking into someone's home? Spend another sleepless night at Jake's place, counting down days until court. Wake up to 17 missed calls from my building manager. Call back immediately. Mr. Johnson, there was an incident at your apartment last night. Incident? My heart stops. What kind of incident? The police were called for a domestic disturbance. Apparently, there was a fight. I wasn't even there. I haven't been staying there. Well, someone was there, and they listed you as the tenant when the police arrived. Great. Now I'm getting blamed for fights I wasn't even present for. Drive over to survey the damage. Door is propped open, can see broken glass through the doorway. My coffee table is overturned. There's a hole in the drywall. Walk inside to find Megan sweeping up what used to be my favorite mug. Oh, hey, Alex. Sorry about the mess. Sorry about the mess? My apartment looks like a tornado hit it. What happened here? Just a little disagreement about feminist theory. Things got heated. Things got heated? Someone put a hole in my wall. Who's paying for these damages? Relax. It's just a little wear and tear. Wear and tear? There's literally a hole in the wall. Take pictures of everything. Add them to my growing file of evidence. Call the lawyer again. Mr. Peterson, the situation is escalating. She's throwing parties, causing property damage, running a business out of my apartment. I understand your frustration, but the court date is set. We have to wait. Can't we get an emergency order or something? Only if there is immediate danger to life or property. Look around at my destroyed living room. What about danger to property? She's already caused hundreds of dollars in damage. Document everything. We'll present it at the hearing. Document everything, wait for the hearing, hope for the best. This is my life now, apparently. Month 2 of living like a refugee from my own life. Court date finally arrives. Show up in my best suit with a folder full of evidence. Photos of the property damage, documentation of the lock change, witness statements from neighbors. Sit in the waiting room for 3 hours before our case gets called. Megan walks in, wearing a professional outfit, carrying what looks like a legal briefcase. She brought a lawyer. How does a squatter afford a lawyer when I can barely pay for mine? Case gets called. We all stand before the judge. My lawyer presents the facts. Unauthorized entry, refusal to leave, property damage. Sounds pretty straightforward when he lays it out. Then Megan's lawyer stands up. Your Honor, my client is a victim of housing discrimination and domestic violence. Domestic violence? We were never in a relationship. She sought refuge in what she believed to be a safe space and now faces retaliatory eviction. Retaliatory eviction. She broke into my apartment. Judge looks at both sides, clearly annoyed by the whole situation. Does the plaintiff have documentation proving exclusive right to the premises? My lawyer provides the lease agreement, utility bills, everything. Does the defendant have any documentation establishing tenancy? Megan's lawyer presents what looks like a fake lease agreement. Where did she get a fake lease? Your Honor, as you can see, there was a verbal agreement for shared occupancy. Shared occupancy? We never spoke before she broke in. Judge examines the documents for what feels like forever. This appears to be a complex domestic situation rather than a simple trespass case. Domestic situation? I keep trying to explain we were never domestic. I'm ordering a 30-day stay to allow both parties to gather additional evidence. 30 more days? I've already been homeless for 2 months. Walk out of the courthouse feeling completely defeated. Megan smirks at me on the way out. See you in 30 days, Alex. Maybe by then you'll understand women's rights. Women's rights? This is about property rights. Drive back to my apartment building, sit in the car staring up at my windows. Can see Megan moving around inside, probably celebrating her legal victory. Get a text from Jake. Sorry, man. Sarah needs the couch back. Can you find somewhere else? Nowhere else to go. Bank account drained from legal fees and hotel rooms. End up sleeping in my car in a 24-hour diner parking lot. wake up with a crick in my neck and the security guard tapping on my window. "You can't sleep here, buddy." Drive around looking for somewhere safe to park and sleep. This is America, and I'm homeless because someone broke into my apartment. Days blur together, shower at the gym, eat fast food, work from coffee shops. Laptop battery dies during an important video call. Client asks if everything is okay. Technical difficulties, I tell them, sitting in a McDonald's. Hard to explain that you're living in your car because the legal system failed you. Week 3 of the extended nightmare. Drive by my apartment. Notice moving trucks outside. Panic, thinking maybe Megan finally left. Climb the stairs, find my door wide open. Megan is directing movers who are carrying my furniture out. "What are you doing?" I shout. "Oh, hey, Alex, I'm redecorating. This stuff doesn't match my aesthetic." "Your aesthetic? It's my furniture. You can't sell my furniture." "I'm not selling it. I'm donating it to women in need." Women in need? What about men who need their own furniture? Watch helplessly as strangers carry away my couch, my dining table, my bookshelf. Stop. That's theft. It's redistribution of wealth from the patriarchy to marginalized communities. Call the police again. Get the same response. This appears to be a civil matter, sir. Civil matter? Watching people steal your furniture in broad daylight? By the time the movers leave, my apartment is completely empty, except for Megan's stuff. She's redecorated with what looks like vintage feminist posters and crystals. My home doesn't even look like my home anymore. Second court date arrives. Show up with photos of my stolen furniture. Judge looks even more annoyed than before. "Mr. Johnson, where is your furniture? She had it removed and donated without my permission. Do you have receipts proving ownership?" Receipts? Who keeps receipts for furniture they bought years ago? "Some of it, Your Honor, but not everything." Megan's lawyer jumps up. "Your Honor, my client simply removed abandoned property to make the space livable." Abandoned property? I was locked out, not abandoning anything. The plaintiff has shown no interest in cohabitating or maintaining the premises. Cohabitating? Why would I want to live with someone who broke into my home? Judge seems to be buying their argument. "Mr. Johnson, did you make any attempt to establish a roommate agreement with the defendant?" "Roommate agreement? With a burglar?" "Your Honor, she's not my roommate. She's a trespasser." "That's yet to be determined. I'm ordering another 30-day extension. Another month of sleeping in my car while she lives in my apartment. Walk out of court feeling like the entire justice system has lost its mind. Spend the afternoon at a park trying to figure out what to do next. Call my parents, finally ready to admit defeat. "Mom, I think I need to come home for a while." "Of course, honey. What's wrong?" Explain the entire situation from the beginning. Long silence on the other end. "Honey, are you sure you're telling us everything? This sounds very strange. Even my own parents think I'm making it up." "I'm not making it up, Mom. Someone broke into my apartment, and the courts won't remove her." "Well, maybe there's more to the story. Maybe you two had some kind of relationship." "Relationship? We met when I found her sleeping on my floor." Hang up feeling more alone than ever. Month 3 begins. Final court date approaches. Lawyer calls with good news. "Alex, I found a precedent case. Similar situation. Judge ruled in favor of the property owner." Finally, some hope. Show up to court with renewed confidence. Megan isn't there. Wait an hour. She still doesn't show. Judge calls the case. "Where is the defendant?" Her lawyer stands up. "Your Honor, my client has relocated and no longer contests the eviction." Relocated? Just like that? Case dismissed. Plaintiff may retake possession of the property. 3 months of hell, and she just decides to leave on her own. Drive to my apartment building with the court order. Climb those familiar stairs one more time. Key still doesn't work. but now I have legal authority to change the locks. Call a locksmith, show them the court paperwork. Door opens to reveal my apartment completely trashed. She didn't just leave. She destroyed everything on her way out. Walls covered in spray paint with feminist slogans. "Smash the patriarchy," written across my bedroom wall. Kitchen sink is clogged with what looks like concrete. Carpet is stained with something that smells awful. Every light fixture has been smashed. This isn't just property damage, it's vindictive destruction. Take photos of everything for insurance claims. Call the police to file a report. We'll send someone out to document the damage, but if she's already gone, there's not much we can do. Of course there isn't. Sit in the middle of my destroyed apartment. 3 months of sleeping in my car, thousands of dollars in legal fees, lost furniture, destroyed property, ruined credit from missed rent payments, all because someone decided my home was their safe space. Call insurance company, explain the situation. "Sir, your policy doesn't cover damage caused by unauthorized occupants." Unauthorized occupants? You mean burglars? If you didn't formally evict through proper channels, they're considered residents. Residents? She broke in. Spend the next 2 weeks cleaning and repairing damage, painting over graffiti, replacing light fixtures, ripping up ruined carpet. Apartment slowly starts to look like home again, but it doesn't feel the same. Every sound in the hallway makes me jump. Installed 3 extra locks on the door. Keep expecting to come home and find someone else living in my space. Friends ask how I'm doing, try to explain what the experience was like. At least it's over now, they say. But it's not really over. Still dealing with insurance claims, credit repair, trauma from months of homelessness. Learned that your entire life can be destroyed by one person's delusion. Learned that the legal system cares more about protecting squatters than property owners. Learned that feminist theory can justify stealing someone's entire existence. Sit in my reclaimed apartment on my new couch that I bought with money I didn't have. Apartment is quiet now, finally peaceful. But peace feels fragile when you've seen how quickly everything can fall apart. Megan is probably out there somewhere, looking for her next safe space to invade. Maybe telling her story about the oppressive landlord who tried to silence her voice. Meanwhile, I'm here trying to rebuild a life that someone else decided to destroy. 3 months of my existence stolen by someone who claimed it was her right. Justice system that treated me like the criminal for wanting my own home back. This is the world we live in now, where breaking into someone's apartment is called reclaiming space, where property ownership is considered oppression, where men have no rights if a woman decides to take what's theirs. Apartment is mine again, but I'll never feel completely safe here, because now I know how easily it can all disappear.